Hello, everyone. Oh my God, I'm here with my gorgeous, gorgeous, lovely, caring, loving. I don't even have enough words to describe her friend, Shahrzad. Shahzad and I have been friends for about 5 years now, and we've been chatting and chatting and chatting, but we just hit the record button, so it feels weird to like be restarting the talk. But Shahrzad and I have done things together before. We've been in the coaching field, like I said, we started the same year. So you guys have been asking for her. You have been finding our old talk together here on YouTube and saying, "Hey, where is your friend? Like you haven't done anything else with her." So I reached out to Shahzad and I said, "Okay, let's do something." And here she is, generous as always with her time, her energy, her presence. So Shahzad, my dear friend, if you would introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, what you teach, and all the things.
Oh my goodness, Mina, I love you. And I'm so honored that you asked me back. I mean, we've been in touch, we've been talking. I think the last time we did this, it was in 2018. I cannot believe it. And we were 1 year really into business. Like for me, probably not even a year. So I cannot believe that it's been now we're going to go to 6 years of friendship and growth. And I just love you. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me back. And who am I? I am, I don't actually label myself at any sort of a coach. I can't find whether I'm a relationship coach, but I love the concept of mentorship. I really allow myself to be not categorizing to one thing, but what I love helping women with is having the greatest relationship with themselves, with money, with men, with everything in their lives, fall in love with their life and just live a life of a masterpiece. I recently changed, well, it's been a year now, changed my brand to the Masterpiece Woman because that was something that it really inspired me that, there's not only one thing in my life that I want to expand and I want it to be beautiful. I want every part of my life to be beautiful. So the brand expanded and I expanded and stepped into that. And here I am. And yeah.
I absolutely love that. And that's why I think you're such a good match for my audience as well. And obviously for me. So I know a lot of people in the online space, they call themselves friends and then they're not really friends. But Shahzad and I are really, really friends in real life. So I just want to make that clear because I think a lot of people like throw that word around, but like you and I are actual friends in real life. We resonate. And this is why your work really overlaps and kind of like resonates with mine is because you're always growing.
Mm.
So I love that you keep growing, you keep doing your inner work. In fact, you're growing so much that you outgrow your business. Like that's a good sign when you outgrow and you're like, okay, well, I'm over here now. And I started this company when I was here. How do I bridge the gap? And so I remember you rebranding, remarketing as the Masterpiece Woman. And it was just like, ooh, I'm like, yes, I see that for you, for me, for all of us. So, yes, I love that about you, that you're always doing your inner work. And actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you about because I think in the industry, sometimes there's this feeling, and I know that, students can often feel that, okay, when I do my inner work and I'm at this level, then like that's it. I'll get my PhD in inner work and like I'll never be triggered again. I'll like, never have a bad moment. I won't even be human. I won't even have an ego. And like
I
all
will
will
be
be
afraid of
perfect.
nothing.
Yes, I'll be afraid of nothing. I'll be fully seen and heard. But that's not like inner work hasn't been linear for you and I. So tell us a little bit about your inner work journey and what that's been like for you.
Yes, thank you for saying that. And that is, first of all, I'm just going to reflect that right back at you that your friendship has been one of the greatest assets and one of the most cherished things in my life
Mm.
because you are an absolute angel friend for me and also a total inspiration. And, having friends like that in your life that keep on elevating, it's very different from the childhood that she's doing it, so I want to do it. But it's like literally feeling like, oh my God, she is truly living her purpose. And I am so in love with her happiness and her success and how it is modeled for me and how it is possible for me. And I think that, the sisterhood wound that many women have, like friendship with you has, I think, really made the transition or fast tracked me into that. And I just want to acknowledge you for the incredible friend and mentor that you have been for me. So just that. And there's so much truth in what you said. I'm honest, like I thought that, inner work, once I like get what a limiting belief is, then it is, these are the limiting belief I have. I'm going to overcome them. And then the world is my oyster. There will be no more triggers. There will be never anyone else that is going to have, push my boundaries or any of that stuff. And that is just the farthest thing from the truth. That is something that I'm going to have your permission to be real and honest with you and your beautiful audience, is that I had gone through a lot of stuff until 2017, and I did a lot of inner work, and I went from, and I love your archetypes, truly from the basic babe to the self of our Barbie $1 million babe, quite not fast, but within a year or so, like I really was able to transform that and live a different life, have a different relationship with men, leave my corporate job, start my own business. There was a lot of stuff that happened both quickly, but because I went really deep in that. And I really thought that was it. And this was an awesome a couple of years until it was 2020. And something happened. It had nothing to do with the pandemic, really. But I went through a situation that it was on an event that I got really traumatized in that event by the person that was leading it. I shouldn't say traumatized. I was re-traumatized. A trauma that I had in the past resurfaced. And I went back home. This was overseas. I went back home and I continuously felt like something is wrong. Something is wrong. I couldn't stop feeling sad and heavy all the time. I couldn't stop feeling, there's heaviness. I was still operational. I was doing my business. Like it wasn't, thank God for the inner work that it didn't take me out, that, what I had gone through. But I had gone from this feeling of high vibrational feeling on top of the world to a girl that was like on her bed, like every single night crying, thinking like there's something wrong with me. I don't understand. Something is wrong with me, why it is. And it took me a few months because there is that judgment of I should know better, right? Like I have all these things to be grateful for. There is nothing wrong in my life. So what if that particular thing happened? And what happened was that basically that person that was running the event went Tony Robbins on me. You know how he gets in your face?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got into my face. And it was a lot of people there that I had no idea who they were. And she demanded an answer out of me.
Oof.
And to a lot of people, it might not be a big deal. But to me, who had a big trauma around authority, a person demanding an answer and you having to come up with the right answer while your nervous system is completely shut down, you are in like complete fight or flight, which I now understand that when you're in that zone is like all your blood flow even changes because you need to run away. when you're in that zone, your blood is not going to your logical part of the brain. It's going to all your limbs that you're trying to defend yourself or you're going to fight. So it was a complete moment of shock for me that took me back to when I was 4 or 5 years old. And now I don't know any of this. I only think about like, why is it that I have become completely non-functional for something that happened probably was 5 minutes, which felt like 5 days to me when I was in that moment. And after I was over the judging myself, I really started to go a deeper level of inner work, which was to work on realize that it was trauma, because I didn't want to admit that it was trauma. There was nothing that people around me understood, that actually my husband was there and he was just not capable of protecting me from it. And he was so frustrated. He wanted to go beat up that person. did that to me because he had never seen me like that. He thought I became depressed. But anyways, I went on a journey of a deeper level of working with trauma, which I didn't want to talk about it. There was nothing to talk. There was no story for me to tell. I couldn't conceptually understand what was happening. And that's something that people don't understand about trauma, is that sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You know, you can't, when you try to talk about it and convince people, they think that you're crazy because this is not a big deal, right? So I
Mm.
went through something called somatic therapy, somatic experiencing, that it really helped me within 2 sessions to understand all of that, what was going on with me. And I'm telling, and then that was it, by the way. It was over. I
Mm.
was over it. I was able to really feel what was trapped inside of my body, what was frozen basically in time inside of my body, and move from that. And I'm telling you beautiful people all of this is because had I not done the inner work that I had, I think it would have taken me out completely.
Mm.
I would have probably not even put myself in that situation, because I believe that as we are doing our inner work, then there is this within ourselves, we trust ourselves more to let go of a trauma a little bit more, to let go of those limiting beliefs. If you don't have the capacity to actually hold yourself through when something really big is passing through, it could take you out, right? That's why it, like you said, it is the stages of it. The more you do the work, it doesn't always have to be heavy and trauma or anything like that, but the more you have this feeling of safety and security within yourself, that you're able to actually deal with what's coming up. And I think that was a huge part of this process. Because of the inner work that I had, my body was now feeling safe to actually release it, and for me to come up with something that I had no real recollection of from. Like if you had talked to me prior to that event, I wouldn't have told you that authority terrorizes me, a person of authority, because I had no idea that that was the case for me. So that was a huge, like another, like a, what do you call it, like as you turn on the switch and a next level of light bulb moments and transformation started to happen to me. And then it, like the transformation again went up really really fast in within myself. And then I got my energy back. I got back to who I was meant to be. And then the next version of my brand was then developed after that, the Masterpiece Woman. So all of that to say is that truly inner work, I don't want to scare people, but there's no end to it. And it's a good thing, because it gets to be better and better. You get to be better and better because of it.
Oh my God, so much there. So much there, Shahzad. First of all, thank you so much for that vulnerable share, because I think a lot of, especially in this space and coaching and stuff, people want to just portray themselves as like this perfectly healed like person that doesn't get triggered, that doesn't have things come up. So thank you so much. I love that about you, that you're real, you're honest, and you show that no matter how much inner work we do, we are still human, having a human experience. And there's so much we can say about this, right? First of all, the culture that you and I come from, there is that core like DNA level authority wound, because we have been told like just shut up and follow these instructions, just don't ask any questions. And so I really appreciate that, because I feel like you didn't just heal that for yourself, like you helped really heal that for literally 7 generations back, and 7 generations. Like I feel healed through hearing your story. So that is really important for us to share. And I also find it really interesting. Like I call this like consciously suspicious, like how in order to go your next level, you had to go into this one container at this one event and get like really massively triggered and like release this one thing that was perhaps holding you back in more ways that you had consciously imagined. And then here you are, like on the other side, like healed, and helping your beautiful clients do the same, and even more. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for letting me share that. And yes, that is the truth, that where we come from, be a good little girl and answer me when I'm asking you something with that authoritative coming at you. You're in trouble if you don't tell me what I want to hear. And that's literally like the person's face was right here. And I became a 5-year-old in that moment, that
Mm,
I had to think and find a way to answer the right way. And I was also, it's funny because there's so many things happening at once, because I'm like, in that moment of frozen, I'm like, why are you acting like a child? You can just walk out. You can just say, this is no, and walk up, but I could not. And like you said, this was a underlying thing that was happening in my life that I didn't even know. Like there was a many instances that after that I actually felt a lot more freer to say what I wanted to say this is not okay, even though I had done so much work on my boundaries and saying no. But there was still these things that were going under the radar that I wanted to just wash away and pretend like it wasn't a big deal, when it really was a big deal. When especially women too, but that authoritative male person that would always trigger me. That even if in my relationships, male relationships in my life, that they would even suggest that state, I didn't realize that there was a little shakiness in me going on.
mm.
It doesn't exist anymore. There is a bigger strength in me, but like you said, because it went back, it's like going back in time and going forward with generational healing of that no, that's not okay, that's not happening, I'm not having that anymore. But I had to have the capacity to be able to hold all of that. Had I not been for the inner work that I've done, I don't think I could have.
So, what advice then, Shirzad, would you have for people, especially spiritual people like you and I? Like, we're showing up, we're doing the inner work, like, we're putting in the hours, the energy, the resources. And then a moment like this, or any moment happens where we start doubting ourselves and we think, because I've had many moments too where I'm like, did it all count? Like, why am I feeling like this? Like, is this the place where it all falls apart? So what is your advice for those women that it appears like they're having this linear, like, upward movement with their inner work, and then of course we say inner work is linear, and they have that moment and then they're like doubting the whole thing? What would you say to them?
Oh, I love that question. Inner work is definitely not linear, and you and I know this. But even if you want to put it as linear, even if you want to think for a second that it's linear, the way that it is, that it's not like this, but it is more like this. You're just going to continuously, you're going to have dips, which is good thing, because if you are on that roller coaster that is going to keep going up, there is no, it becomes really, really boring. There is nothing there is nothing to actually have that human experiences that comes with it. If there is a high, there has to be a low. There has to be the duality in this world for things to, not that you have to feel happy and depressed, but actually have the capacity of the human experience of experiencing all different parts of the emotions. Now, your set point can be very different than a person that their set point is always miserable and complaining. Your set point could be gratitude, but then when you're falling off of it, like I did, then there is something is wrong. There is something that your soul, your inner, excuse me, inner being is telling you, look at it. Look at it, because life gets to be even greater than this. When you look at this, you thought you were here, but in order for you to get here, let's go a little high so then you can get the momentum to shoot back up. So I would say that my advice for anyone that is doing the inner work is that please keep doing it, because the better it gets, the better it gets.
Mm,
Sometimes there are going to be moments that you are going to have moments that looks like things are falling apart. And I don't want a spiritual bypass. In that moment, you don't have to say to yourself that everything is happening for me, but in the hindsight, you always see that everything is happening for you. right? Like in that hindsight, I would have not told you in 2020 that in that moment that I feel terrorized, that this was happening for me. But I knew it was already ingrained for me that one day soon enough, I'm gonna know why this happened exactly for me. And until then, I can keep faith. I can let God give all this pain to God, keep asking, show me the next step. What is it that I need? I had never even heard of the somatic experiencing until that. I had no idea. I thought that the only way that I could, heal trauma is that to go to therapy and talk about it for 2 3 years. I didn't know what it was until I really realized that there is this modality that allows you to just go to the source of it and heal it, and have somebody just hold that space for you while you heal it. They don't do anything to you. It's just that they have that safe space for you to give you the courage to heal it, and then that would be it. It didn't take me a year after that. It just took me literally 2 sessions, Mina, to heal it. And I think that what that did to me, in the hindsight, I would go through that over and over and again, even though it felt like hell.
Oh my goodness. I can really relate to that. For me, that was EDMR,
Yeah.
where it's like decades of trauma healed in like a couple of sessions, and you're like, that was it. Like
Yes.
that's what was like blocking me, stopping me, keeping me small. And so again, it goes back to like, you can hide away and run away from inner work for decades and keep yourself small so you're not triggered so much. Or you can face it head on, have a miserable few months or a few sessions or whatever it is, and then literally be on the other end of it saying, oh, that was it. So, yes, oh my God, I can so relate to that. And I think it was both of our, I don't want to call it little inner work because it's all like pieces to the puzzle, but it was like all the other inner work that led to this big moment of inner work. And then, it's like when 6 people try to open the jar and then like the 7th person comes and opens the jar and they're like, well, I opened the jar, but like the 6 other people helped on. So I think all of our inner work was the thing that like got us to that moment of the somatic experience or the EDMR, like it was for me, that like opened the jar and like, and then here we are.
Absolutely. And I want to say to that, Mina, that had we not done the inner work, you know how many people, when they hear the word therapy, they're like, no, are you saying I'm crazy? Are you saying that there is only crazy people go to therapy? They wouldn't even go to that had I not know what me at peace feels like, what me in my power feels like, what me in my disempowered, because that was disempowered. Like imagine like in the corner of the shower rocking.
We're laughing, but we've all been there. So it's like
yeah, like I have money coming in, no problem, and my husband loves me, and I live in the, but I like that made me feel like I'm crazy. There is nothing wrong with me. I don't have to see this person ever again. But that no, it was, had I not done the inner work, then I would have just bypassed all of this and probably just self-sabotage my entire business and all of that. But it was because the level of that inner work that brought us to the wisdom that we had, that it is a blessing. It is getting support, receiving help in any modality that feels right and good to you, not in a way that you just constantly talk about the same thing and you just talk about it like a broken record and there's no way of going forward. It's just a loop. But finding a way that works for you, that is all thanks to that little pieces of the inner work. It's like a piece of puzzle. It doesn't matter how small or big it is. They have to all be there for it to be a full picture. Otherwise,
absolutely. Yes, I totally agree. I think we can't undermine any of the experiences.
yeah.
So I'm feeling called to tell the story of how I met you and then maybe lead into what you're doing currently. So technically I started coaching in 2016. In fact, I was writing, I showed my YouTube plaque yesterday on YouTube at 100K. It was a big deal for me. And I wanted to summarize the journey there. And so I had my husband look up some of the dates because I wasn't sure when I got certified as a life coach and all the various things. And so technically I got certified as a life coach in March of 2016. But for me, when I launched my first course, which was November 2017, so November 17 is when I feel like I started my business for some reason. I don't know why. So, anyways, right as I was like going through the internal process of like, who the hell do you think you are to start a course? And like, all the things like the imposter syndrome, all of that stuff. I'm like praying about it, asking for guidance. All the people that I'm looking at in the industry doing similar things, they don't look like me. They all seem more powerful. They all have the right hair, the right skin color, all the things. And I'm over here going, well, who wants to have a course from little old me? And then I was on Facebook, and your Facebook group gets promoted to me. You know how it says you might
Yeah.
also like or whatever.
Yes, yes.
And you at the time, you had on a Desi outfit. So Desi, by the way, for those of you guys watching, are like brown girls. So like Pakistani, Indian, like Middle Eastern. We call it ourselves and each other Desi, Desi. So here she is wearing an Indian outfit with this coaching group. And I'm like, oh my God, who is this chick? Is she Indian? Is she Pakistani? Like, what the hell? Like, oh my God, there she is. There's another one like me out there. Someone crazy enough to be wanting to do what I want to do. So I joined her group immediately. And I see her post. She's got this very poetic, like writing style, and she's interacting with people with such grace and love and ease. And I was just like mesmerized. And of course, later on, I learned that she is not Indian or Pakistani. She's Middle Eastern, and her husband is Indian. And that's why she had her engagement pictures in the Indian outfit. And I had just decided we were going to be friends. And I don't know how we started talking, but I remember taking one of your courses. I don't know if you still have it, but it was the one. It was like it had like scripting in it. Like I was like, this is the script.
Magnetic scripts, yes.
Okay, yes. I was like, this is the scripting queen. Like she knows how to say shit. Like she knows how to word it just right. And I was just mesmerized, and I felt like the example that I needed of like another person that like looked like me, had hair like me, had my skin color, you know what I mean? Like that was like me doing it on a really large scale. So I don't know how we became friends, but we became friends, and I'm so grateful to have you as my friend.
Oh my goodness. I remember that. And it's funny. Well, first of all, let me talk back to you. I think that the way that you joined my group, and I think it did the same thing to me, like it showed me your group, I joined yours. And then the way that you were talking, the way that your posts and messages, it just resonated deeply with me. And um, your name, Mina is my mom's name. There was just some familiarity that I felt with you. And I think we just started communicating. And then they just felt like this girl really, really gets me. The way that she talks, the way that she embodies, the way that she looks at things, and the perspective that she has. One of the things that I don't think I know I love about you is that your perspective is just constantly is evolving. And that is something that I always strive to do. Is to always make sure that I am, because I can only see what I can see. It's not, it's I'm here looking at things and I'm projecting my own limitations into the world. And I think one of the greatest lessons in life is to know that what you know is not ultimately the truth, is not what the actual is, but being the student of life, being somebody that wants to constantly say, is this the ultimate way of thinking? And it never is. I've never come to one conclusion in my life, knowing that I will never ever think another way. It has never happened. I think so differently than I did even in 2017. So I love that about you. And your videos, your two YouTube videos always inspired me. So that it was just like a soul sister, just recognized another one and saw it right away. And it was so true, Mina. With the outfit and all of that. It's interesting because I am from Iran. So that way of dressing is not common in Iran, but I fell in love with it. When I got engaged to my now husband back then, I'm like, I want to wear this. This is the most beautiful thing in the world. I want to wear it. But I had so much hang up on my own nationality, in the fact that nobody can say my name. Oh my God, like who's gonna want to learn from a girl with an accent who is, until just a couple of years ago, she was a wreck in her life and a relationship was like a train wreck, that she had no confidence. And literally, scripting was the hardest thing in my life. It was talking to men, speaking my truth, which we see there are different up levels to it. I just talked about it, right? In 2020, I went through it, another whole different upgrade. But until 2017, I couldn't even tell a man that the way, like, insulting me is not okay. I had zero self-esteem. I had no way of saying no. It was always whatever you say, because if I don't agree with you, then you're going to stop loving me. Or if I tell you that is not okay with me, then you're going to abandon me. I was a constant, please don't leave me, please choose me, please love me. And that shows in the scripting. But that, going through the vortex of inner work and really gaining my self-worth back, became, then in the scripting, it started to show up. My weakest thing, then it became my strongest thing. I think that, and that's the gift of doing the inner work, is that when you actually find something that you really need to work on, and if you do it, then you become the best teacher in it. Because if it is easy for you, you're not going, oh, it's always been easy for you, you're not going to understand the people who are struggling with it, right? So yeah. So
Exactly. Oh my God. When you were talking about the other level of upgrade, it's like I thought about like a computer, like just because you or an iPhone, just because you upgraded it 2 years ago doesn't mean another upgrade isn't around the corner. So I love that. I say that all the time, that inner work happens in layers, and you're going to be there. I thought I dealt with this like 3 years ago. Well, there's another upgrade, bitch. Like do it again.
let's do it all over again. And that example is brilliant. We have the latest iPhone in 2 years. It's you, there are going to be new apps that this new one is not going to actually be able to keep up with it. It's going to run slow. The battery is going to die faster, and you're going to have to upgrade. And that's literally who we are. We need to upgrade constantly. And until the day that we are on this planet, let's keep doing it, because it's worth it.
Yes, there's going to be more upgrades. So I know that you and I are always evolving, and because of that, our businesses, our life, our relationships are a reflection of that. So currently, right now in this moment of time space, what is your zone of genius? Like, what are you most excited about teaching your clients, like going deep in? Like, what are you all in at right now?
I love this question so much. So what I have been, especially over the last year, is really working with the energetics of stuff. When it comes to the energy of embodying of what you really, really want and making it happen, that has been something that I can't get enough of. And that goes side by side with the personal power. I love talking about personal power. And when I say personal power, is that you're not impacted. You're not a reflection of other people. You are who you are. And then you can hold your own energy. You can hold your own power regardless of what's going on around you. Of course, if you're in a toxic environment constantly, then that's a different story. But that I'm talking about, situations, that things that happen that don't make you just lose all your power. So having your personal power and really working with the energetics of the quantum and working with all of that has been so incredible. When I started doing that, that's when I started stepping into anywhere around 100K months. And that was a big quantum leap for me. I was doing between 30 to 40Ks. And then when that happened, it made me go to that level. And it was interesting. To myself, I'm like, again, this is where the next level of inner work comes. Everybody knows me as the relationship coach. Who's gonna
Mhm.
want to learn from me? This is stuff. This makes no sense, but my soul just knew that it's time. It's time for me to evolve. It's not I'm changing avenues or I'm changing everything. It's just that everything that I need to be talking about, there needs to be a level of depth, and there needs to be more than just the human parts that we talk about, but actually the energy behind it, who you are. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are when you're doing it, and who you are, what you're doing is the energy that you embody and you infuse in everything that you do. Whatever you're touching, you're putting your energy into it, right? So what energy are you actually infusing into your day-to-day life? So that has been, I don't know if that's cryptic, but that's has been what I have been so excited to just tap into within myself and with the women that I work with.
I love that you are speaking our language, honey. Like we're all over here just soaking it up and loving it. So where can, and I'm gonna put all the links for you guys. Of course, you guys, some of you guys know Shahrzad because she's done other stuff with me. But for those of you guys that don't, you need to go find her. She's on Instagram. She's on. She's everywhere, and we'll link it. But where are you like most active? Like where do you want people to come interact with you?
So the Masterpiece Woman Instagram is where I hang out the most, but because of the greatest inspiration of my business, Mina Irfan, we talked about this in January. I started my YouTube channel. So it was time. I had limiting beliefs around it, even though YouTube is my absolute favorite platform where I consume the most.
Mhm.
I had these hangups around it that, oh, it's blah blah blah. You heard me say that before, but I'm somebody that when it spots it, I get over it as quickly. So I started that. It's called the Masterpiece Woman. The channel is, and then I'll just give Mina the links to everything, and then you can come hang out with me, play with me wherever.
I love that. So I'll post it in the description box. I'll also pin it to the first comment. Go and check out the masterpiece woman herself, my dear friend Shahrzad. Thank you so much, babe. I just love you. I adore you. And I know that there's a lot more coming. I just see it like it's bubbling in from you. Like you're just like pregnant with all of this yumminess. So I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much, Mina. You mean the world to me. Your words mean the world to me. And I'm so honored to be here. And please, everyone, we're going to have this thing reversed. I'm going to be asking Mina all these great questions too. So come for the second part of this girl chat to the link that Mina is going to put there.
Awesome, ladies. I'll see you guys in part 2. Bye.